Another notorious leaker, or shall I say unreleased holder, because he does deny that he has ever sold a song, at least publicly or with a group buy, because that's where it actually turns illegal. Never mind, if you hack people, it definitely is illegal, and that's what he's getting booked for. Okay, so King Bob, also known as one of the minions who leads the rest of the minions for Gru, I think his name is, but I guess he got caught up with some wire fraud and identity theft, which is actually how a lot of these leakers make money, so that they can then buy all the unreleased songs, because they're like, how else do they get $800,000 like it said he did, and then buy all these Juice WRLD leaks? They go for like 20k per. It's the game, I guess. Then they can flip it by selling those songs for maybe 2x, 3x, maybe 10x of what they actually bought it for. It's a great business model if you ask me. Although, if you just stay low key with it, maybe not turn yourself into King Bob, the notorious leaker or unreleased holder, like maybe the cops wouldn't have caught your ass. But this isn't supposed to like be attacking him whatsoever, because he's been on stream. I don't necessarily recommend like the things that he did, but hey, I tell you all the time, if I knew how to hack people and get $800,000 for free, I don't know what I'd be doing, because then I wouldn't need money. It's essentially just like an infinite money glitch. But regardless, let's get into the story. Palm Coast teen accused of stealing $800K in cryptocurrency, indicted on federal charges. So it looked like they already had a whole case built up against him, and so maybe it predated all of the King Bob personality choices that he made online. But something to note is that his mugshot is right there, allegedly, because sometimes when these hackers get arrested, it might not actually be the person, but all the other unreleased holders in the community are saying that it is in fact him. He is white, so if you go back to some of his tweets, bro, I'm actually not going to show, because maybe it'll get copyright, or not even copyrighted, but like struck down or something. But he was dropping N-bombs left and right. People thought he was black and that he had that past, but clearly he did not. So this might be the end of his career, not to mention the fact that he might be going to jail for 2 to 20 years allegedly. So again, he stole $800,000 from at least 5 different victims. Yo, somebody get me in on this. I'll be like an angel investor on your hacking equipment, but I won't be involved. I'm not going to ask any questions as to how you got the money, but hey, straight profits. He was also charged for aggravated identity theft, which a lot of times is how these people get the funds from people's banks, because, you know, people have $800,000 or 200 and so on, and you have to verify that you are that person to get access into their Coinbase or crypto wallet account, or just their bank account. Or what a lot of people did back in the pandemic was like act like they were a homeless person or a kid or a dead person, and then they'd be able to get the PPP loans, and people ran up hundreds of thousands of dollars with that. So that was definitely a bag back in the day, but I don't know if it's worth it to be a hacker anymore, just because there is a trail online regardless of how sly you think you are. Because every single transaction, especially with crypto, like if you're putting it through wallets, the whole point of Bitcoin, yes, like, you know, if you're a good hacker, you can get the money out, but you got to do a whole lot of rigmarole so that you can get it in one account and then like feed it into a bunch so that it gets lost. But eventually, if it's their literal job in the IRS or FBI or CIA to like go through the Bitcoin ledger, they can track all of these transactions. So to be honest, Bitcoin, yeah, it started a lot of cybercrime, but at the same time, it also made it easier to detect, which kind of goes against all these people thinking that Bitcoin is fraudulent, because a lot of drug deal and like illegal activity is done in cash, because that is actually undetectable, especially if like you wash it literally, so you got no fingerprints on it. And then you can also launder it, which is like the figurative version of washing the money. But enough of that. We're not going to dox him by reading his name, but he was indicted on 8 counts of wire fraud, 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud. So they caught him like talking about it to one of his friends, bragging like, yo, I'm about to hit a lick on this dude for 100K, blah, blah, blah. 5 counts, 5 people that he stole their identity. He faces up to 20 years in federal prison on each. Oh my God. I thought it was just 20 years total. he faces up to 20 years in federal prison on each wire fraud charge. So that means, how many people did he steal from? Like at least 5. So say it's like 10. That means he has a maximum just on the wire fraud charges, not even counting the identity theft, 200 years in jail. Now, I don't think that he's actually going to get that, and we'll probably read further down that, you know, he could probably get the years reduced, especially with the $800,000 and probably more money that he has still locked up in a crypto wallet or something that he could pay a fine ass lawyer, pause, to actually reduce this shit. That's how all these big rappers get out of, you know, get on bail or like get the charges reduced, because the lawyer will find some little nitpicky loophole and get out of it. But anyway, he will get a minimum mandatory penalty of 2 years in prison for the aggravated identity theft. So even if he gets all the charges dropped from the scamming or hacking, taking people's money from wire fraud, he still is going to go in for a minimum of 2 years with the identity theft. That is if he is proven guilty. Now, he could end up getting out of it completely, because who knows, like maybe he's in a couple anonymous accounts where he was doing this, or like on a VPN or a proxy with a different phone, a burner. And so they can't necessarily prove that it was him doing it. Maybe he gave it to his little brother and his little brother got into some action. But allegedly he had another alias online, actually multiple: Sosa, Elijah, King Bob, which we know, Anthony Ramirez. So maybe this was one of the identities that he stole. And he was arrested this last Tuesday, so on the 11th. And apparently he ran up this $800,000 plus, because again, he might have some other funds that he stole that were not documented by the FBI, CIA, or IRS between August 2022 and March 2023. So literally, like, what is that? 5 plus 3 months, 8 months that he ran up 800K. Yo, you can live a long ass time off of 800K, especially if you got it in Bitcoin. And then, you know, it's been boosting up lately, so that could have turned into over $1 million pretty easily, especially if he invested it wisely afterwards. But I don't know how he would get the money from the crypto wallets without paying taxes into US currency and then do stocks or house or whatever it is. But then it talks about his methods. If anyone's buying from these scammers, this is the method, but you'll get caught. He said it was a part of a conspiracy to steal cryptocurrency from the victims by swapping the victims' cell phone numbers to cell phones controlled by the conspirators, aka SIM swapping. So essentially, like, you call up the phone company or whatever it is. I'm not too keen on what exactly they do, but still probably aligned with the identity fraud, and act like you're the person who owns that cell phone number, and then you can then gain control by getting somehow the code or like getting a SIM card from that company that also controls the phone that's already connected to that number, and then you put it into yours, and so you can get into all the apps and probably all of like the auto logged in shit because you got your password saved in your phone, and then you can get into like people's Coinbases, bank accounts. Even like that's how people get into other emails, so that they can get unreleased songs from producers who are sending it back and forth, or the artist to send it to their friends. So that's why now rappers keep all their music in physical hard drives, because that essentially negates all of that business. But it's crazy because like to have all this knowledge of hacking and SIM swapping, you kind of need to know a lot of information about the victim, like, you know, their mom's birthday or their mom's maiden name, their first dog ever in life. Now they could probably find this information somewhere after they already got into one email with like a 2-factor authentication. Oh, that's another thing. When you're into someone's phone, you can literally it'll send you the code to do the 2-factor authentication, or if you have an app for that, it'll send it to there too. So it's literally fucked, bro. Phone companies definitely need to crack down on it, because again, that's how most, at least from my knowledge, of the songs get passed around and stolen. And last but not least, he is being held in custody pending a detention hearing scheduled for Tuesday in Jacksonville. So he's currently in jail. It's not like he just got arrested and then he can fly off, because knowing hackers and liking to remain anonymous most of the time, at least online, they'll probably flee because they do not want to go to jail. I mean, look at bro right here. Now, I'm not saying that He probably got a little meat on him. I think on the stream before he was talking about going to the gym at the time because he was on his phone. But I don't know, maybe there's some Playboy Carti fans in there or Ken Carson fans who he mostly has songs of, and they'll get super pissed off and shank him or something, or put it in his booty hole. I'm not even joking though. Like, if he goes to prison, that is definitely a circumstance that can occur, and y'all already know. So anyway, King Bob arrested. Is unfortunate to see. I guess nobody's gonna get any leaks. Any of this will probably deter people from even trying to hack rappers, at least some of them, because some of them will be like, you know, they'll be like, fuck that, it's not gonna happen to me. Everybody thinks it won't happen to them, but the IRS, FBI, CIA might already be looking at all your transactions, so be careful if you're gonna do it. Okay, I am not condoning it because I like my life free in this world, and I also like my booty hole untouched and tight. Let me know in the comments what y'all thought about this situation. Is King Bob gonna be down in prison for potentially, what was it, 200 years plus, or is it only gonna be 2? Or will he get off completely free? Y'all let me know what you think. It's been your boy bobbalam signing off, figuring out how to legally get a 800K lick like King Bob. And by the way, it is not me. I am still here. You can see me in person. I do not look like that guy. Ken Carson actually thought that I was King Bob at one point. I tweeted it a while back and said I was the real King Bob. So hopefully, IRS, FBI, if you're watching this, it's not me. Okay, peace out, clap people. Nice seeing you.